Farrar, aka the Beard Guy here, and welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast. Today, we're going to be discussing finding the easy button in your marketing. We're going to be talking about AI automation, viral marketing, and social media. So welcome to another Lunch with Norm, the e-commerce and Amazon FBA podcast.
Lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm, lunch with Norm.
How would you like to find that easy button in your marketing? That's what we'll be talking about today. And our guest, well, first of all, I was a little surprised when I heard this. She has 6 kids and she is a major, what should I say? She is awesome. That's what I'm going to say. I got to meet her for the first time last week, and she just blew me away. We had a chance to talk. So I said, you got to come on the podcast. She is a marketing strategist who supports small business in growing their audiences and sales organically without ads. Her marketing courses have had over 28,000 paying members, and she is a speaker in many events. Her most recent project is building Pagewheel, because why should we learn how to market our businesses when AI can do everything for you? Our guest is Rachel Miller. But first, before we do this, let's have a word from our sponsor. Are you looking to quickly boost new Amazon product launches or scale up existing listings to reach first page positioning? The influencer platform Stack Influence can help. Stack Influence pushes high volume external traffic sales to Amazon listings using micro influencers that you only have to pay with your products. They've helped up and coming brands like Magic Spoon compete with Cheerios for top category positioning, while also helping Fortune 500 brands like Unilever launch their new products. Act now. It's one of the best times to get started with Stack Influence in preparation for October Prime Day sale and the holiday season. Sign up today at stackinfluence.com or click the link in this video and mention Norm, and you'll get 10% off your first campaign. All right. Where is the boy Blunder?
Hello, hello.
How are you, sir?
I'm doing good. I went through a hurricane this morning, but we came out the other side, so it's looking good.
Went in one end and out the other.
That's right.
Very good.
How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. You know, this is a pre-record, but I just came back from a really cool event called DealCon and got to meet a lot of great people. Brandon Young was there, so got to talk to him. Brett Curry was there, and Chris Brewer.
Okay.
So so everything was it was great. It was different than I love going to these types of events because it's not a lot of Amazon stuff. It's talking about other things. And actually that's one of the reasons I love going to these events. I say it all the time is, well, I get to learn things, but I also get to break bread with people and get to know them a little bit. And that's what happened today. There was a networking thing going on, and Rachel just came up and said, "Hey, I'm Rachel." And I looked at her and I said, "Rachel Miller?" And we just started talking. It's a long story before that, but let's just say her email got hacked, and I was trying to get a hold of her, and she never got my email. But that's what she says anyways. But it was great because now not only her, but there's a whole bunch of other people that I've never had a chance to talk to, like Josh Snow, Dennis Yu. These are all people that I've always loved their story, and now they'll probably be on the podcast hopefully one of these days soon. But that went great. And then I noticed, Kels, I don't know if this was you or if it just picked it up. LinkedIn started carrying our newsletter.
Yeah, that was me.
That was
me.
you?
Yeah. Yep.
You sneaky little guy.
Yep.
Yeah. I was on there the other day and I saw a post and I went to it, and LinkedIn does a really nice job with putting the newsletter on the website, the way it lays it out. Aesthetically, it looks nice.
Yeah, they do a really great job. So if you are interested in checking out the newsletter, you can find the full newsletter at lwn.news. But if you want to see like the sneak peek, you can find it on LinkedIn as well. It's the same Lunch with Norm newsletter. You can find it, just the story is there, and then you see a link and it'll directly direct you back to the full newsletter. But yeah, if you're looking for the stories, you can check it out there and subscribe. But again, that's lwn.news, and that's the weekly story of Norm, filled with a bunch of other tips and recaps of past podcasts. So we got it all in there.
Yeah, and that DealCon was in Nashville, and coming back, I remembered a story from around 25 years ago, and that'll be for next week. So it's a pretty good story.
All right, awesome. Looking forward
All
to
right.
it.
So now let's get you out of here. And let's, if you have any comments or questions, we are monitoring this live. But now it's time to sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee like me. Enjoy the episode. Welcome, Rachel.
Norm, it's so good to see you again.
I can't believe you got 6 kids. I mean, that's the thing that impresses me the most. 6 kids.
One or two of them might pop in. So we have a recent college graduate who is like going to trade school nearby. So he's in and out of my office all the time. And another kid homeschooling at home. So and we still have other kids too. They're just in regular school, public school.
Wow. You know,
but there's 2 here at the house and they do walk in. So
that's okay. That's okay. Sometimes my dog walks in, and you know what? I got to tell you, this is funny. So I've got a golden retriever, and I didn't know this about a hard bite, soft bite, but one day he came down and he had a knife with him. So I thought, oh, that's, where'd you get that? Grabbed it from him. Another time he brought me my hairbrush, but the weirdest thing he brought me was a raw egg.
A raw egg?
Yeah, didn't crack it. He brought it down. I don't even know where he got it from. My wife must have been making scrambled egg or something. No. I'm not Paul Barron.
Okay. We share our backyard with a neighbor. Like how do I say that? Like they borrow our pool.
Yeah.
We borrow their chickens. Like we borrow the trampoline from another neighbor. So like the 3 of us kind of like are at each other's houses all the time. They borrow my freezer, because I have a big deep freeze. So they like might put their thing in the freezer with their name on it. Anyways, we just have like a shared like life a little bit. And so, yeah, I like my dog might find their chicken eggs. Actually, I think he killed one of their chickens too.
Oh no, we won't say that. We'll geofence around that area.
Yeah.
I do have to tell you a funny story.
Learn.
Get into this. And it is about Paul Barron.
Oh, I love Paul.
Yeah. So, I get a text message or a WhatsApp message, and he's talking to me about, he's in his chicken coop and he's saying, all right, so to make sure that you feed these chickens properly, this is my routine. And he starts going through all this. I'm going, Paul, what the hell are you telling me this for? He goes, oh, wrong number.
Oh, he thought he was calling like the person to take care of the chicken.
Yeah. I thought that was pretty funny. But now let's get into this, because I know you from from a long time ago. I heard about you from Paul. He was the person that talked to me about how fantastic you were, talking about your the course that you had for social media to start to grow your communities and grow them incredibly fast.
Yeah.
So, and you're known for that. So whenever I hear your name, it's usually associated with this, but there's something else that we'll talk about today. And you've taken a bit of a turn. You're still involved with that, but heavily involved with AI now.
Yeah.
I loved what I saw, what you were doing. It's crazy.
What I love is like any brand can go viral. Any brand can figure out what their people think and say and do. And basically going viral is just reflecting back to your audience what your audience wants the world to know about themselves. Anybody can do that. But before AI, it took a lot of work because you had to like figure out the voice of your audience. You had to find the things that they love the most. You had to test different messages. And it still takes time, and you still have to test messages and you still have to like do a little bit of trial and error. But AI now can actually look at the past content in your niche and actually say, okay, here's the posts that are going viral. make this type of post. And it can give you like, our base can give like 100 post ideas that now you have a better shot of going viral off the gate. So why do I need to train as much? Because AI does it for you. And we actually have people going viral right now with that content. So I kind of step back a little bit from the training, because with the AI tools, there's no need as much training as there is for you to just copy and paste skills.
So why is it so tough for a brand to either hire it? I've hired a lot of social media people in my day, and only a few have been worth their weight in gold. Most of them sucked. I mean, that's it. Most of them did. Why is it so hard to take the concept and make a post viral? It sounds like the formula is fairly easy, yet you don't hear many brands do it.
I think it's because brands are talking about themselves and brands aren't talking about their audience.
That's a good
viral
point.
Talks about what the person who's engaging with that content, what they are curious about, what they're excited by, what they're entertained with. And brands typically say, well, that's not conversion content. That's not something that reflects what we want the world to think about us. That might put us in a bad light. That's too whatever it is. It's too lowbrow typically. Okay, let me back up and tell a story just to make it kind of more clear.
Sure.
Whenever I have triplets. My youngest 3 are triplets and they're all 13. But when they were 2, I went to Walmart. And I'm sitting there with my buggy. My 3 kids are in the buggy, and I have a shopping like basket on my arm, and that's actually what I would shop in. And my triplets would be in the cart. And so here I am. I'm putting stuff into my basket so I could have whatever I needed that night to eat. And one of my kids is taking off his clothes. So he's taken off his clothes because that's what 2-year-olds do. At least that 2-year-old really likes to be nude. He still actually will walk around the house with next to no clothes on. And he's now 13. But anyways, at the time, he really didn't like his clothes on in Walmart too. And so he's taking his clothes off. One grandma comes by and she's like, it's the middle of winter. You have this problem. You need to fix this problem. And that's put shoes on your kid, put pants back on your kid. So one starts the conversation with me saying, you have a problem. Here's the problem points. Here's the benefits. Your kid's not going to get sick. Don't you know it's winter? Da, 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 da. So the solution, put shoes on your kid. So often we as advertisers and people on Facebook, we do the same thing. Hey, you have a problem. Let me tell you about that problem. Here's the rays you can see. You have this problem. Here's the benefits of our features and our thing. So take this action right now. And my reaction to that grandma who was telling me to put shoes on my kid was, excuse me, you don't live my life. You do not know what this kid is like. I'm going to keep walking and ignore you. Right. So like, I literally was like, you're being rude. Leave me alone. And I remember going around the corner. So I'm like, okay, I was in let's say the mac and cheese aisle. I don't know, because we bought a lot of mac and cheese then. So I'm on the mac and cheese aisle. And now I'm going to like the beans aisle or whatever. So I'm over on this corner. And I come up to another grandma who also sees the same problem. My kid is taking off all his clothes in the middle of Walmart, and it's 40 degrees out, which in Texas is like the dead of winter. You're going to die of hypothermia right now. So she's like panicking as well. If he was actually I would put them on before he was back in the thing, and no one's dying of hypothermia. Like, he'll be fine. Does that make sense? If he was actually that cold, he wouldn't be taking his clothes off. That was my thought. Anyways, So I go around the corner. Next mom comes up to me and is like, oh, you have 3. Well, yes. Okay. How old are they? Oh, they're this old. They like mac and cheese. Oh, they do. What else do they like? Oh, what are their names? What was it like having 3 babies? Oh, did you know one of them doesn't have any clothes on? He's taking he's working on his pants now, lady. He's got his socks and shoes off, and he's working on his pants. So one of them talked to me first. And she talked about my favorite thing, which was myself and my children and the things that I love. And so once she engaged me on my topics that I love, then she earned the right to tell me there's a problem that you have. And I was like, you're right. Yeah, I should probably put socks and shoes back on my kid. And so I stop in the middle of the car. I put my basket down from my arm and like untangle myself and then dig out their socks and shoes, which he'd thrown different places. And I put them on his feet. And so she solved my problem. She made me click the call to action button, essentially. But she did it because she talked about me first. And I think in marketing, we forget that it's actual people on the other side of the screen. And it's actual people with regular human behavior that do like normal things. So like a normal person, when you come up to them and you say, you've got a problem, click here to solve it. Well, yeah, 2 out of 100 are going to click. But the other 98 are going to be like, excuse me, what business do you have talking to me like that? Yeah. So if we want to actually connect and win their hearts, the second grandma, man, she made me feel so loved. Like I can picture her to this day. She had this big red bag and my kids thought it was funny and it was like a shiny thing. So I still remember this lady. I still love her. I still feel connected to her. And she made me take action and solve my problem. But she did it because she earned the right to do that. So how do we earn the right to do it? We talk about our audience before we ever talk about ourselves.
So I guess the first thing you have to know is your audience.
Yeah. And as long as you can talk about your audience, you can go viral. Like that's pretty much it. Talk about them with some curiosity, talk about them with where they are compelled to leave a reaction, a comment, give signals. So Facebook, TikTok, LinkedIn, they all run on signals that you feed the platform. So those are things like thumbs up or hearts or smiley faces. Those are reactions. There's also micro comments like the word yes or thanks or following. Like those are all micro reactions. And then there's connecting reactions like leaving a 3-liner comment or tagging or sharing, putting it on your wall. Then there's private reactions, which are ones like saving it, clicking on it, spending time on something, all sending something over Messenger, sending something over Messenger back to yourself. All of those things are reactions that the social media platform measures. So the first lady who came back through, she got no reaction from me. She got gray stone Rachel, gray rock, I think is what they call it, where like, I'm not going to engage. I'm going to say thank you. And I'm going to just kind of keep walking, leave you and your feedback about my problems, like here on the aisle. Right. And then the next lady, she got positive reactions from me. She asked questions. She got me to smile. She got me to make eye contact. In the scroll and in our social media feed, that's when you stop the scroll, right? She got me to stop the scroll, probably because she was having my kids play with a red bag or something. That's probably why I remember her red bag. So she got me to engage with her because she's talked to me about me and the things I love, the topics I love the most, right? So if you're an Amazon seller and you're selling, I'm just actually going to pull up some of the products I've sold on Amazon back in the day. So I pulled them up before I call. Okay, here's one. This is the first product I ever sold on Amazon. Your readers, are they listening to this or are they watching it too, Norm?
They are watching and they're doing both.
Okay, good. So if you're listening, well, then I'll try to also describe what I'm holding. So whenever I come online and I say, okay, here's essential oil jewelry. For a while there, I had a line of essential oil jewelry. And whenever I go and put these, if you hear them clinking, it's just, they're little lockets that you open them up and there's like a piece of leather inside it and you put your drops of your essential oils in them. And then you can smell all pretty all day long. And I would sell those to teachers. That's my primary audience I sold to, who were not, or teachers, nurses, people who were not able to carry essential oils on them, but wanted the benefits of smelling essential oils wherever they were, and not necessarily in a way that everyone else around them could smell them. So that was my solution. I was solving a problem. Now, how did I solve that problem? I solved that problem with my jewelry, but I collected the audience by talking about, isn't it crazy that in schools they don't allow you to have essential oils in your desk? Like, how crappy is that? What essential oil would you use when there's teenage boys stink and you want to get rid of the teenage boy stink in your room, like we're all there. We've all picked one that kind of covers it the best. What's for you? For me, it's da 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 da. What's the one that? So like that's what I was talking about, which was their favorite topic, which was my classroom stinks and there's nothing I can do about it. So I talked about their favorite topic, and then said, oh, by the way, we have a solution that could solve it. But I talked about them. Hey, you're a great teacher. It's your classroom that smells. It's not your fault you can't figure out what that smell is. I know you looked everywhere. We did too. Okay, so like I collected that audience and talked about themselves. They're a great teacher. The kids are stinky. Kids are sticky. Like all of the things, like kids are messy. We talked about, and teachers, like there's scrapes on the floor. Like we talked about all the things like that would collect the person who's going to gripe about the smells in their classroom. And then after we collected that person, then we said, hey, by the way, we have, I started with a guide that can cover smells, like essential oils that cover different stinky smells. And so once we gave that guidebook out, then we drove them to buying our essential oil jewelry. And what that did is it collected a list of people who were interested in essential oil jewelry and that were teachers, because now I can sell them other things, not just my essential oil jewelry. And then from the essential oil jewelry, then I had that list. I could then retarget into Amazon, and we sold out of our product. And actually we sold out so much of these necklaces that we had our brand hijacked. And I have no proof that it was our supplier, but like this design, I like created it. Like it was my doodles. Like these were my doodles. Yeah. And so now they're being made by other people. So like, so anyways, but when they it did so well that it's now actually some other companies are selling them now. But I actually was growing my other business, so I didn't care that I had my brand stolen. Does that make sense? It was back 2018. That was my first or second Amazon product. Fourth Amazon product that I'd sold on my own. But we did sell out of our inventory because I was able to capture that audience and talk about the things that they were most excited about, kind of gripe about the things they didn't want to live with in their lives, and then on the back end sell them what was the solution.
Well, what I liked when you told that story is and I'm talking about the essential oils side of things, is that you just didn't drive people over to the listing. You got them to buy the guide and then bringing in a bit more of an authority. So you've already, just the way that you've laid out what you were talking about, solving that problem of the boy stank, and then getting them to download and getting the email, and then getting them over to your listing to buy the product. That's very clever. That's great.
And the reason why I did that is I wanted to collect the list of those people, and I wanted 1,000 of them, because that's even more important to me than the purchases. Once I have 1,000 emails of buyers, I can then upload that back into Facebook and say, find more people just like this. Facebook, well, yes, they can see who's ordering on Amazon, because I cannot believe that Amazon does not have that pixeled. I don't get that pixel data. So for me, I still wanted to capture enough of that pixel data that I can find the other people and then retarget them and remarket them as I wanted for whatever I wanted to sell them to. Because like maybe I'm selling them markers next time. I just bought markers. So here you go. So maybe those teachers who care about boy stink, maybe they're going to want markers. These are not my markers. They're just markers I love. But my point is I can now sell that audience something else and whatever that next thing is, but I can't if I can't control the audience. So I wanted to get them onto a lead magnet or a list builder, whatever you want to call it. And then once I grab their emails, then I can put that into YouTube as a lookalike audience, onto Pinterest as a lookalike audience, onto Facebook. And it's not on Facebook for me to sell to that specific person, which is always good anyways, but it's more that I can tell Facebook, find more people just like this. So this is the person I want to show my content to. I don't want to show my content to the person who's not going to take action and not going to buy, the person who's not going to actually click through. I want the people who are on my page, not just liking my virals. Like virals are fun, but like I want the people who are going to click and take action. So I collected the list so I could remarket to those people.
And it's also, when you're doing a new product launch, you're doing maybe a new piece of jewelry or whatever, but also building that community. So you've got 1,000 emails, And now you've got 1,000 people, 1,000 teachers that are very interested in your product.
That's a really good one because I actually use it. I'm trying to find it. I don't think I have it anymore, which is such a bummer. I think one of my kids may have taken it because they actually went through here the other day and I was like, no, that's not for you to grab. I actually went through and we sold the essential oil jewelry, and I don't remember which one we sold first, whether it was the necklaces or the bracelets. But once we sold one, the necklaces or the bracelets, then we turned around and we're like, okay, they like the jewelry for the neck. What about bracelets? So I was able to launch my other product even faster because, okay, this is the audience of people buying necklaces. They're probably also buy jewelry that's a bracelet. So then we sold the bracelets.
All right. So can we get sort of an action step, like 3 things, 5 things, whatever that is? Is there a formula that we can tell our audience right now, hey, look at do this, and you'll have much better chances? I know you went through and you've explained it and they're great stories, but can you give us a hint just on the action list?
Okay, so the first thing I would probably do is create memes, because memes make someone give a micro reaction. They make someone laugh. They make someone smile if they're on the right topic. So you don't want any meme. You don't want a meme that everyone would engage with, just your perfect audience. So create a meme and then post that meme onto your page. And then I would share it from your page onto a source where your people are. So that could be a local Facebook group that you're allowed in. A lot of local groups, they don't mind if you share from a page. They think that's funny. It's a meme. It's not an ad. So it doesn't look or smell like an ad. It's just something funny that you found on the internet, right? So share it from your Facebook page onto your wall, onto places where your future people are. When someone engages with that, your page now gets like a little notice, a tick saying this content is relevant to that type of people. And so now you're able to start growing your audience. Once you have a meme, then I follow that up with a conversation starter. So that's asking them, who else here hates da 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 da? Who else here is obsessed with da 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 da? Who else here has experienced XYZ? So I ask them a question that I call a heartbeat post. It's yeah, that's me. That happened to me last week. I want somebody who's going to say, oh, it's not me, but it's my sister, who instantly can say yes or no and instantly self-identify as that's what I believe. So we're not going to ask a question that's like, who had the problem of finding who they were when they were 24 and they were no. Heartbeat question. If you have a heartbeat and you're in this niche, you can say that's me or that's not me. So the first one, post a meme and then share it somewhere. The second thing is ask a heartbeat question that they can instantly identify with if they're your target audience, or they would know who your target audience is so they can tag that person. And then the third thing that I would do is an expert positioning post. So all of this happens before you ever say you have a problem and I have a solution. The expert one is like, oh my word, guys, there was such a bad stink in my classroom last week and I totally was able to fix it. It was hilarious, the before and after. And then the girls that came in, because my boy class is at 2:30 and my girl class is at 3, and the girl class totally appreciated it. Just saying, I'm teacher boss in here. So like that post positions me as an expert in the solution without telling them I'm about to sell it to you. Like it doesn't feel like a sale. It feels like I'm just laughing because I'm that good. So it's like join me in laughing, join me in celebrating. It's not a positioning. It's an expert positioning post. So
Sure.
First meme, then a question, then an expert positioning post. And then I usually follow up with either a direct call to action, like a direct sale post, or a like, come sign up for this, or come check out what I made. I have this, it will solve XYZ, but I earned the right to talk about it because I talked about them 3 times. I usually follow up with my sales post with something that Molly Mahoney taught me, or I think I was doing it before Molly Mahoney, but once she taught, like I saw her class, I was like, that's exactly what I was doing. She calls them sales ladders. And that's where you ask a question that drives someone to say, I want that solution. How do I find out about that solution? So it's something like, I just fixed the smell in my classroom in 32 seconds. Who wants the solution that fixed the smell in my classroom? So like that's a Here's the problem. I fixed it. Who wants it? And then they comment. And that's where she talks about as a ladder. You post and then you stack up the comments that reply and saying, I want that. I had a horrible thing. Please let me know what you did. As soon as they have that conversation, you now have the right to be like, hey, you asked about this. You're not selling now. You're serving. What do you think the likelihood is? They just said, I want that. They see that you're the buyer, the seller, and they see that you're giving it to them. The likelihood they're going to buy it is pretty high because they know you're watching them and they just asked for it. So you totally flip it from selling to serving. And there's this kind of law of reciprocity of, I kind of feel like I should buy this because it's my friend and we were just talking about it. So it's beautiful. Oh, can I do one more? I know I'm like word
Sure,
on your
sure. No, that's fine.
Okay. So that was the 5 different posts. The next thing to know is that if you can time it right, you can actually, if you can time it where an email's going out like maybe 15 minutes to all your list of the lookalike, 15 minutes before you've got that post going out, you can actually rank on number 1 on Amazon really quickly. So if you get 10, 15, I don't remember the exact number because it's been it's been a hot minute since I've been doing Amazon. I've been doing other things and like let those businesses go or sold them or gave them away. One of my giveaway to my, anyways, I won't tell that story right now. But my point is, you can get them to rank by just 10, 20 sales in 1 hour and a half period. I don't remember what the window is, but it's like an hour, 90-minute period. If you can get everybody to buy at that exact time and then continue to buy. So, but they start kind of all at once. It ranks you really quickly for that search phrase in Amazon. If you're driving that traffic, Amazon sees you just drove 20 people and they clicked and they bought. Well, we better match her traffic because this is ranking right now. People are going to start searching for this. We want to make sure she's in the search ranking. So my products often would launch higher and faster than people who had more reviews because I was sending the traffic and Amazon knew it could trust my product to sell to my audience. So they were like, oh, wait, they actually matched the audience that I drove. So while I brought in 10 sales and I could see, okay, I brought these 10 sales, I would get 11 sales from Amazon. I would bring in 34 sales and I'd see, oh, wait, 40 sales came in from Amazon. I'd bring in 15 sales and 8 sales came in from Amazon. So the traffic they met my traffic, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's great. Now we are at the bottom of the hour.
Oh, wow.
And so at the bottom of the hour, in case you haven't listened to the podcast before, we have this giveaway at the top of the hour called Wheel of Kelsey. And that's where our guest usually has a prize. I didn't even have a chance to talk to you today. Do we have a prize?
We do.
Okay. What is it?
I have a tool that will write. I told you at the beginning that I used to train people how to make posts, but now we just made a tool. And I'm giving away a business plan, lifetime business plan to our tool. And it's called Pagewheel. And it will write your content for you. It will create your virals. It will create your social ladders. It will create your ads. It will create your emails. It'll create a lot of stuff.
Is that the one you showed me?
It is. It's so fun.
It's crazy. So did you say lifetime?
Yeah, I'm giving them a lifetime.
Holy.
Okay, lifetime is as long as I own the company. Okay, because like if I sell the company
Right.
and somebody else is like, wait, no, we're gonna purge that. Well, I'm committing to you for the lifetime of me being in the company.
Well, that's awesome. So I'm going to put my name in for that too. So this, I'm telling you, I can't even describe it, but it is an awesome AI tool. Everything Rachel is telling you it doesn't even do it justice. So check it out. If you want to have a chance to win this lifetime, as long as Rachel's owning it, it's hashtag Wheel of Kelsey, tag 2 people, you'll get a second entry. Now, Kelsey, can you press that button and go to a sponsor? Hey, everyone. If you've been watching this podcast, you know about the book by my friends, Colin C. Campbell, Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat. It's a #1 bestseller in many categories on Amazon, and it's also won multiple awards this year alone. The book has just come out with a series of workbooks. This one is Start. This workbook prompts you for questions and answers to make sure that you're on track for the perfect business plan. So check it out. It's the new workbook by Colin C. Campbell, just Start. And he will be coming out with Scale, Exit, and Repeat. And if you don't have Start, Scale, Exit, Repeat, Go and grab it. It's an awesome book. Just a sec. Start, scale, exit, repeat. I got it right here.
Oh, fun.
Have you ever read this book?
I haven't. No.
Just it's for every entrepreneur, no matter where you are on your journey. It's fantastic. But yeah, check that out. It's available on Amazon. All the soft covers are back in stock. Also available on Audible. And yeah, you can also get it in a
That's
Kindle
my favorite
version.
way. I love listening to a book and reading it at the same time.
Yeah, isn't that great?
I know. Isn't it great that we get to do that now?
Yeah,
I
I mean,
love
things have
it.
changed so much since, I used to, I guess a lot of people did, but I cheat. You have these book reports in grade 11 or 12. And I don't know if you remember this, but the Coles Notes, I'd go over and I'd get the Coles Notes, which was like the Reader's Digest version. It just, maybe I didn't read the book. So hopefully I could work my way through the exam. I wasn't a very good student. Well, later on I dropped out, but when I went back, then I put my mind to it. Okay. So this is, it's great. We've got the checklist. I think you gave some really great examples of why some people, it never works. I mean, you're just talking about yourself. And that's so
Organic's
important.
not going to work when you're talking about yourself. You have to pay to get that. You have to pay to talk about yourself.
Yeah. And I don't know if you know Wilfred Lightheart. He was an old partner of mine in a digital company. And he always used to say, you have to be engaged before you get married.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I love that expression. And now let's talk more on the AI side. So how about if people are looking at this and they say, I'm not very good at it. Is there a way to help create a prompt to get this information out if they're not using your app, of course?
So what we did to build our app is we actually went to our top, because I've been growing audiences since 2011. And I've had sales pages that have converted at like ridiculous, lovely levels, and sales pages that were horrible and crap. And I've had posts that were amazing and got tens of millions of page views, like 100 million like reach. I've had actual posts reaching 100 million people. And I've had posts that have reached 930. Like I've got the whole range, right? So what we did for AI, if you go to just ChatGPT and you ask it, write a post about XYZ, it's looking at all of the posts and it's going the bell curve. So you're not going to get the best. You're not going to get the worst. You're going to get the middle. Well, do you want to be average or do you want to actually convert? Because guess what? Average posts don't do anything. Like they're just kind of filling up space on the internet. So when you go to ChatGPT, I don't think a prompt is going to solve it for you. What you need is the base of everything that already is converting. And then you take what's converting and you give that to ChatGPT and say, make more content just like this. So what I did is I downloaded years worth of spreadsheets, which I've already been downloading. So it's not like I didn't have to go dig them back up. But Facebook, if you go into your content inside Meta Business Suite, you go to the content tab. And then from the content tab, you go to the top on the right, on the top, it says export data. And it lets you export the last 500 posts. And then you can export the 500 before that and the 500 before that and the 500 before that. So you grab in batches of 500 all of the posts you've ever made. You put them all into a giant spreadsheet and you sort it by the most impressions and reach and the lowest impressions and reach. And then you take your top results, your top 10%, or in my case, I think we pulled the top 4%. And we literally just fed that back to AI. So we say AI, do not look, ChatGPT, do not look at the whole internet. Only look at our top performing posts. So anybody can do that. You guys can go into your top content right now, go to Meta Business Suite, go to your content, download export your data, and then sort it so you have your top 10 or 4%. And then feed that into ChatGPT and say, okay, ChatGPT, here's the next 5 contents that I'm going to be talking about. So like, I know I made that one about essential oils, right? I made that one about essential oils or about teachers, but I want you now to make one about if I was battling with lightsabers while I'm brushing my teeth, because this was actually our first product that we ever sold on Amazon. this was before I found out that I was breaking the law by featuring a product that was a Star Wars product. I had to learn my lesson the hard way. But yeah, my first product was a Star Wars toothbrush marketed with Star Wars in it. Let's just say I only got to sell it once. But anyways,
They gave you an offer you couldn't refuse.
they gave me an offer I couldn't refuse. but I did sell 250 of them overnight. Anyways, my point is, so I got the product. I can then put that into the AI and it can look at the past results of success and it can rewrite this new post based off the wording that has done well in the past. And that's basically how we created our content bank. It's been pretty insane. So we did that with our Facebook posts. We did that with our Pinterest descriptions. We did that with, we actually have a section where an Amazon and an Etsy seller gave us their best performing product descriptions, and they let us share that with everybody else. And so we actually have it now write product descriptions based off of the 15 best performing ones that this individual gave to me, which was super, super kind that they gave me their best performing bank. They were making the whole internet better, right? But yeah, you go in and you can do this yourself though. Feed your best results to ChatGPT and then say, make content just like this. And you can change the topic from playing with your kids or teaching school to golf or lightsaber toothbrushes, and it'll do it.
Wow. Now, what do you think, or what are your best performing social media channels? I know it's different for everybody, but what's yours?
I think your best one is usually the place you like to hang out. And for me, I like hanging out the most and scrolling what my friends and family are doing. So Facebook is my favorite place to hang out. TikTok is my least favorite because I have I don't know if you picked up on it. I've got major energy issues, major ADHD, and maybe major bouncing off walls. And so once I start watching TikToks, I get anxious because I engage with the ones that are the most dramatic. And so it feeds me more and more drama to the point where next thing you know, I'm watching a werewolf romance series and I'm like, what the heck is this? Or I've had some completely off the wall, horrific stuff come through my feed. And I know I'm training it, but I can't realize I'm training it because I was just watching something about this thing that happened and wherever it was. I remember how I got to the werewolf romance once. I was watching these Viking musicians play drums, and the Viking musicians playing drums led to this person who was creating chakra jewelry that had a wolf on it. And I guess people who really watched both of those must also love that. And then I left the phone running when I walked out of the room, and I forgot to turn off my phone. So probably watched one whole thing by itself. And then I came back and my whole feed was nothing but werewolf romance. I'm like, oh my.
Wow.
I was like, how do I get this off of here?
I was telling Kevin at the conference, so TikTok was there, and we were talking about just TikTok in general. I said, oh, my wife is on TikTok quite a bit. She loves it, the golden retrievers, the puppies, stuff like this. But I've made TikTok videos before. I've never in my life watched one TikTok video.
They're for me, I don't know how they spiral so fast for me into something I'm not interested in and definitely don't want to see. And then I can't get out of, and I don't really know why it does that. So I think it's because my ADHD is I must have a go deep on a topic. And then next, I'm watching 5 Viking music videos. And now they must think that there's such a correlation between.
I'm just worried. I got an addictive personality, and I just know it'll be Kelsey. Don't contact me for the next 8 hours. I'm looking at travel videos or golden retriever puppies or whatever.
Now, so I don't do TikTok just because of my personality.
Yeah,
but I am on TikTok, so I make TikTok videos for my audience. I am on Reels, but my Reels are primarily what my daughter likes. So I actually do reels with my daughter where she sends
Ah.
me reels and I send her reels. It's like our way of communicating.
Yeah.
And most of those are actually like gorillas holding babies or looking at babies through a glass mirror and a puppy dog who has a duck as a pet. And like, it's just nonsense. But yes, my primary audience that I engage with is Facebook, but the principles are all the same. Talk about your audience first, entertain your audience, collect them first, then drive them to a conversion. That's worked on TikTok with other people. It's worked on LinkedIn. I have done well on LinkedIn in the past. I let LinkedIn die and I'm reviving it right now, actually. So you can follow me on LinkedIn if you want to be connected. So it works on Instagram. We've used it like gangbusters on Pinterest, gangbusters on Facebook, gangbusters on YouTube.
Let's go back to LinkedIn.
Okay.
That's a big topic nowadays. A lot of businesses are going back or starting to focus on LinkedIn. How can you utilize that to your advantage?
Well, LinkedIn has the same signals that Facebook has. You give reactions. So you're going to want to post something that gets people to give hearts and thumbs ups and the little hand with the hearts, like care, you're giving love. You're going to want to post content that collects those reactions. And remember that the person who's commenting wants to look good in front of their bosses. So you're definitely not going to like post gripes on there. Whereas like in the Facebook one, I could probably talk about the stinking classroom. Probably can't talk about that on LinkedIn because that's not going to make her look good in front of her AP, her associate principal, right? So she's going to want to post something that says, oh, the 5 best teacher resources for unruly students. She wants to be seen as liking that post to her principal. So we want to think about what makes them look good and feel good when they're engaging on the content. So you probably tweak it a little bit, but if a meme did well on Facebook, I'm guessing it's going to also do well on LinkedIn. It has in the past for me, and that's how I grew my first 5,000 connections. And then I let it kind of die. So I'm actually in the process of reviving it now because we are building Pagewheel as a software and we're hoping to be acquired. So we built Pagewheel without any investors. So it's been bootstrapped the whole way. But we ran out. We're not out of cash, but we're like really low out of cash. So at this point, we're now looking for investors or to like sell it and to be acquired. And so while I'm in that spot where it's okay, it's time for us to like start being a true software business. Most software businesses, guys, they start with like a venture capital fund and like hot diggity dog. We grew to our first 2,200 users without any outside investors, which I'm super proud of, but you know, it's at the stage now where so I'm going on to LinkedIn because that's where the investor community is. The investor community is not really on Facebook. If they are on Facebook, they're not really talking publicly that they're an investor and like the back and forth minutia. Why? Because their friends and family feel like that's uppity talk. If you're the next door neighbor and your next door neighbor sees you discussing the valuation of their business, what do you think they're going to feel like? Well, wait a minute. This is the person who doesn't leaves their trash cans out in the front yard. And when the thing goes by, that's not you kind of feel like it doesn't fit, right? Like you want to kind of let your neighbor not know that you're doing business valuations, at least at that level. So my guess is they're having those talks on LinkedIn where it looks good to have conversations about investments and conversations about next leveling up your business. Whereas in a private, like family and friends, sometimes that feels a little bit like you're one-upping each other. And so that's where I'm guessing that's the content difference between the two.
So just before I came on, I was looking at my LinkedIn today and there was a couple of people that I met at the conference and then there was a bunch of messages. And so I started going through these messages and it was, oh, I looked at your profile and I'd love to connect. Okay. Who is this person? No. Then there's the people that just give you a page long, like, hey, Norm, and here's a page long. I'm not reading it. Goodbye. And then there's the people that go hit the reply or hit the message.
I have a gal yesterday. Okay. So my tool will actually create your entire lead gen system in like 3 minutes, right? Okay. So this girl on LinkedIn messages me and she says, would you like help with your lead gen? And okay. I did intellectually remember that they spam message, right? I intellectually knew that, but also I forgot at that exact minute. So I'm like, actually, honey, I didn't say honey. That's demeaning and derogatory, and I would not have done that. But I said, actually, we created a lead gen tool, and I think you'd love to hear about it. Because if you're selling lead gen, you should hear about our tool. She's like, I'm trying to sell to you right now. I'm like, oh, for crying out loud. Of course, I know that. But like, she didn't look at my profile, like, which my profile says she has like lead gen tool. Like, so I thought it was hilarious.
Oh man. But yeah, going back to these 3 messages, and there was a bunch, but this is just how I kind of go through. The last one is somebody that takes the time to send me a message that doesn't say, oh, I just looked at your profile, blah, 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 auto, it's just, but somebody that actually took a look, asked me a question or something like that. And it's exactly like you said.
Who you were.
Exactly like you said. And guess what? Almost 100% of the time, if it looks like it's more personalized, I will respond, and they get a hold of me. I accept them, and they might not be on the top of my list of people that I want to connect with, but because they've reached out and it was personal and they made the effort, it's probably an automated system or it's their, VA doing it. I don't care. It comes across to me as being personal. And I think that's important.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that they talked and asked questions about you before they started pitching who they were.
Right.
So it's like that lead gal who's like, do you need lead? Are you interested in lead gen? I'm like, heck yeah, that's all I do all day. Yeah. Never mind. You're asking. I know that intellectually. Like if I was thinking clearly, of course she's there to pitch me. I just wasn't thinking when I responded. So
the one that I love, it's because I have a podcast on Amazon. I provided a lot of content on Amazon, and yet you'll get the ones, hey, have you thought about selling on Amazon? It's like,
that's what this gal was. Oh. Like, let me make your lead funnel. I'm like, oh, we made 22,000 of them last week. 2,200, excuse me, last week.
Yeah. So that's a very important point that, again, it's getting to know just don't shotgun.
Don't shotgun.
And just don't, and this goes with our WhatsApp group too. I wish you would join, but our WhatsApp group, we get some spammers in there, and they had the opportunity to communicate with a group of their captivated audience. Mm-hmm. And instead of adding value, they come in, they look like an idiot, and all of a sudden we'll get like, this is spam, remove spam. And they don't get a chance at coming back into our group or any of our other groups. And if this is what they do with other groups, they're shooting themselves in the foot. They might be a great agency, but they've never even, they're not marketing themselves correctly.
They're the grandma who's telling you, fix this about your life without ever talking to you. And literally you're like, that's the most rude lady in the whole wide world. Yeah. And you literally want to like run away from them, get them out of your life, even when they're right. Even when they're right, even when they have the solution, you still don't want it. Even if you have that problem, you still don't want it because the way it makes you feel.
Yeah. Just back in the day when you'd have a lot of salespeople coming to your office, exactly what you just said, there'd be people that could solve your problem, but the way that they appeared, mm-hmm. And I always go by perception, right? And if you look like you're a cheesy car salesman, you might be able to solve my problem. That might be the car I want to buy. I just don't trust you. And that's the same thing that's happening today, but, more digital. Mm-hmm. So that being said, what's the last thing you'd like to talk about? We got a couple minutes left.
Oh, well, one of your people are going to get a freebie, which is a free business level plan. If there's any agencies, we're rolling out an agency plan so you can white label our software. So you don't have to create your own list of the best performing social media posts. You can just steal ours and put your brand on it.
Sounds great.
Yeah. So that's what we've been building as an AI tool, because I figure nobody wants to go to more school. They want the results that school gives them. Nobody wants to argue with a computer. Nobody wants to argue with ChatGPT and like go back and forth and try to make ChatGPT say what they just want the results that ChatGPT gives them when they're the right results. So people don't want, so that's where we look for an easy button. Like I really feel like too many businesses are making it too complicated for themselves when we can just look for the easy button and put the easy button in place. And for us, we actually were really intentional in making sure our easy button is super affordable. So our easy button for most businesses costs less than a pizza. So yeah,
it's crazy. So,
I know our competitor is charging $2,000 onboarding fee and then $197 a month.
So what are you charging?
$27.
All right, that's good.
Okay. And I've had every business coach that we've had tell us that's way too low. But I'm like, the reality is it's a tool that like it's an AI tool. You shouldn't have to pay a ton for it. You give it what you're looking for and it spits out the results. That's it. It's easy.
So,
keep it easy. Why overcomplicate it?
If people don't win today, how do they get to try it out?
Okay, so they could do it themselves by going and exporting their data and then feeding it into ChatGPT.
Yep.
Or they could go to pagewheel.com.
Okay, pagewheel.com. And then any buttons that they have to click to get going?
Nope, just the one that says get started.
All right, that's easy enough. Okay, so how do people get a hold of you or your or your company? How do they follow you?
I'm Rachel Miller on Facebook. I'm Rachel Miller on LinkedIn. And you can even find me on TikTok and Instagram.
As Rachel Miller?
I know.
Okay, very good. All right. So we are going to our last sponsor, and then we're going over to the wheel for the big prize today. Exciting. Lifetime, as long as Rachel owns the company, for the Pagewheel. Okay, let's go, Kels. Hey, Amazon sellers, ever faced account suspensions, ACE and hiccups, or IP headaches? Introducing Seller Basics, your Amazon accounts guardian. With just $99 per month or code NORM, $89 a month, Seller Basics offers a dedicated team to shield your business from these challenges. Plus, this membership offers free legal consultations from seasoned e-commerce attorneys. And guess what? There's no long-term contracts, and you can cancel with just a month's notice. You can view Seller Basics as your Amazon account's health plan, and you can check them out at sellerbasics.com. Now for the disclaimers. Seller Basics is not an insurer or law firm. Consultations come from independent firms. Results may vary, and membership is needed before events leading to claims. Oh yeah, one other thing, terms apply. All right, we're back. Now, Kelsey, let's go to the wheel.
It's time for the Wheel of Kelsey.
All right, everyone. I'm here live with the Wheel of Kelsey. I see Drip Fit, you just added yours. Awesome. So again, this is a pre-recorded episode. So this was recorded last week, but will be a live episode this coming week. So we're excited to be back. Let's spin it, the wheel. And I'm going to explain to everyone how you can reach out if you're the winner, which it looks like Drip, you are. So congratulations. I think you know the drill. But again, I'll say in a second with the pre-recorded episode how you can email me. So thanks again. We have a live episode next week. So we'll be back in action. And yeah, hope everyone's doing well. And we'll continue with the rest of the show. Thanks, everyone.
So Rachel doesn't get the full Wheel of Kelsey experience today because this is a pre-record, but it's around this time we should be going, woo, congratulations.
Congratulations. I can't wait to meet you, whoever the winner is.
All right. So Kels, anything to say? Of course not. You're muted. So, okay. Rachel, I'm going to remove you from the podcast right now. Just stick around, and we'll be back with you in 2 seconds.
Thank you, guys.
Okay, everybody, let's try Kelsey again. Are you there, Kels?
Am I here?
Oh, there you go.
All right. Some glitches happening every time now, but we're back. If you are the winner, please email us k@lunchwithnorm.com, and we'll connect you with the prize. And make sure you check out our newsletter. That's lwn.news. And we put out a newsletter every Monday. So check that out.
All right. So as you know, we're not here. This is a pre-record, but thank you for listening today. We could not do this podcast without our community. You guys are awesome. And if you want to get more of the beard, you can also go to sign up for the newsletter, like Kelsey just said, watch more of the podcast. You can sign up for our WhatsApp group, or you can head over to our Facebook group. Okay, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you live next week.
Lunch with Norm.